Hi friends, welcome back to Stray With Me. I'm Jessie and today I'm going to be talking about the power solution for this truck camper shell build. I never know what to call it. So before we get started, I'd just like to say that this video is sponsored by VTOMAN. I'm going to be talking a little bit about why I chose to work with them, but let's go back in time a little bit. So I don't know how long you guys have been following me, but back in 2018 was when I first decided I wanted to live in a van, and I started building my first build out in 2019 with my dad, and so everything was DIY. The thing you should know though is that I am not an electrician. I don't have anyone in my family in California that's an electrician. Oh my god. Bees. I'm outside obviously. So what I was doing was I had to learn how to do everything, and there's a lot of really amazing resources out there to be able to learn how to do this stuff yourself, but I will have to say I did not do a very good job. I was very lucky that I didn't have any shorts or fire issues or anything. I was pretty conservative with what the amount of power that was being drawn, and I feel like I did a pretty good job about overestimating the solar and battery power that I had in that system. With that being said, yeah, it was not a great it's not a great time for me. I constantly had electrical issues, and I'm going to show you some clips from past Jessie and some of the things I dealt with. My electrical system has been a lot of ups and downs, mostly downs. So I've been working on this since I was getting the whole van built. That was kind of, part of the whole design was to have solar panels and an electrical system. So I'm actually, since I've been having problems lately, I'm going to get the batteries charged. But let me kind of start from the beginning of my whole system. Months ago I had Shasta just grabbed her chucket, so that's why I'm laughing. I was having issues with my charge controller. The part that keeps the tension so that the wires can stay in, that was broken, and that wouldn't hold the wires, and so that got replaced. So once that got replaced, I was having issues with everything getting fully charged. I was up in Bend, so it was all pretty cold. The solar panels were not taking in a lot of energy because they were so cold, and then the batteries were really cold. So they were kind of staying at 40 to 50% because they just wouldn't fully charge in the day, and it was kind of overcast. It was never fully direct sunlight. But flash forward to now, being back in California, there's much better sunlight, and it's just warmer. So even in the wintertime, it's January or December still, it's still very warm. It's 60 degrees. Stop. Quiet. Wait. But it worked for a while. It started charging, and then I was just driving and the wires came loose, so I go to tighten them, and I completely undo everything, and then attach them all, and the charge controller starts smoking. And of course, working with electricity, that is not normal. Then I just unplug everything, unwire everything, and figure I need to talk to someone because I don't know what I'm doing. It's been 7 months of working on this electrical, and it's finally working. So yeah, my first instinct was to look at my little outlet. It turned on. It's telling me the correct battery levels, and my fan turned on. This is the first time it's ever turned on, ever. And look at this. Woo! That's turned on. Hell yeah. I'm so excited. This is this is the happy. I was actually kind of having a bad day, and I was like, I don't want to work on this because if it doesn't work, then I'm gonna be upset. And it works. Looks like there's some weird, I think that might be stain that I just never noticed. So if there's one thing I wish I did at the start was choosing an all-in-one battery system that I just wouldn't have to think about. And there's ways you can integrate like wired in lights, outlets, things like that. There's so many ways to do that. But for this system, my build is so simple that I don't need to hardwire anything in. And that gave me the perfect opportunity to finally try out a larger battery system. So the thing about those battery banks, they're just so convenient. So if you don't want to learn how to wire your solar system, having an all-in-one system is so much easier. All right, so I decided to reach out to VTOMAN for a few reasons. The Jump 1000 has VTOMAN's V-Surge technology, which means it can surge up to 2,000 watts, which also means that this can be used past the 1,000 watt inverter mark, and specifically it can be used to jumpstart the battery of my truck. And something that once I started doing a little bit more research and reading into the specs of this, my original battery system in my van was 200 amp hour of AGM batteries, which only is about 100 usable amp hours. I'm so bad at this kind of stuff, which is why this kind of system is perfect for me. It's foolproof. And this being 1,408 watt hours, it's about the same, if not a little bit more, of that amp hour calculation if I did this correctly. Using a lithium battery also means you're going to get way more battery cycles than you would with an AGM battery. The VTOMAN Jump 1000 has 3,100 battery cycle possibility, so that's about 55,000 hours, usable hours of this battery. So to compare that back to an AGM battery, that only has about a 1,000 hour capacity until you have to completely replace the battery. So for long-term use, it's just not sustainable. And in terms of my own values, I am really working towards having everything be as sustainable as possible. So not needing to replace a battery and all the chemicals that are used in an AGM battery, it's just not great for the environment. As I was looking into various battery companies to reach out to and collaborate with, I was really shocked at the size of this thing. So for comparable battery banks that have a 1,000 watt inverter, your watt hours are going to be way, way, way lower than the 1,400 that this one has. It also has 12 ports that you can plug into, as well as I haven't seen a single other battery bank offer the jumper cable option. And like a lot of other battery banks on the market, it can also be expanded to more than the 1,400 watt hours that are in this. So you can expand your battery bank and it can grow with you. And this can be charged 3 ways. Of course, it can be charged with a wall outlet in your home. It can be charged in a cigarette outlet in your car while you're driving. And it can also be charged with 200 watts of solar power. So as you guys know, obviously I make these videos. This isn't my full-time gig. I'm not at that point yet. I'd love to be, but I do still work remotely. So I am lucky enough that even though I am kind of stationary right now, I still have my remote gig from when I lived in my van. So I am able to hit the road whenever I want to. I need something that will fully charge my devices and also help me out by not leaving me stranded if I'm out on a back road and my battery dies. Not only is this system really great for remote workers who live on the road, even if you are just a hobby like photographer or videographer, most of us need electricity on the road. Even if you are planning on charging like a 12-volt battery like I am, something like this is really great. And I think a removable battery system that can be moved inside or used in different circumstances is amazing, instead of like a built-in battery bank thing like I did with my first van. That kind of makes sense more for the van, but of course in execution I did not do that well. So if you are better at that, that could be the better system for you. But for my needs right now, and I think for a lot of kind of part-timers, the battery bank from VTOMAN in their entire jump line are really great. And if you'd like to get the Jump 1000 or any of the other battery banks in VTOMAN's line, I have a 10% discount code down below, including all the links that you need to get to their site. In addition to being able to use this in my truck camper, I've also been able to use this to use some of my power tools while building the camper shell, but also I'll be able to use it in the vintage Bulls Aero camper. I don't have outlets near where the camper is, so I've had to use extension cords, and it's like not that safe to just plug more and more extension cords in to reach the distance that I need. And the fact that this has the VTOMAN surge technology means that I can run things like saws. I haven't tried it with my God, what's it called? Grinder. I haven't used it with my grinder yet, but I'd imagine because it has the surge technology in there that I should be able to run it. We'll see, I'll keep you updated on that. So the VTOMAN Jump 1000 came with a super handy pouch. I have a different battery bank and it did not come with something like this. So this in itself is a really nice feature. And the other battery bank that I have, it's much smaller, but it didn't come with a 12 volt like car outlet. This comes with everything you need to charge it except for a solar panel, so that's sold separately because people don't always need that. Some people like to charge it beforehand because using solar is the slowest method of recharging it. VTOMAN kindly also sent me the jump cables, so these do not come with it, but they are very affordable. And these just plug. So this just plugs right into that plug. There we go. So if I somehow run my battery dry, I can move this up to the front, plug these in, and jumpstart my vehicle. When you're on the road, you really want as many fail-safes as possible and recovery gear, especially now that I have my truck. I'm gonna do a whole separate video on recovery, and hopefully I'll never have to use any of that gear, but it is very nice to have that stuff. So in the bag obviously comes with, I've been keeping the user manual in here, and we have the wall outlet and the car adapter. So when I'm on the road, this is going to sit in the cab with me. It's going to stay under a seat so that it's not visible from the outside, and I can run the cord right up to the front of my car and charge it. And now for the solar panel. So like I said, these are sold separately, but they have amazing deals and bundles where you can get sets of these. I have never had a foldable solar panel before. On my van, I had the mounted solar panels, and those are so bulky, and it is wild to me just how thin this technology can be now. So this is gonna live behind my seat. It is like, look at that, so thin. And this isn't only fitted to the VTOMAN battery, so it comes with all of these different adapters so that you can use this for virtually any battery bank that you have, which I think is really great. I think there's other companies that will not be named that they basically create like proprietary plugs so that you can't really use their things with other things, and I just don't think that's very cool. You can also directly charge things like your phone, something that has a 12 volt plug, directly with your solar panel so that you don't have to bypass it and go through the battery bank. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to VTOMAN for sponsoring today's video. It is so exciting to see all of the new technology that's come out since I moved into my van back in 2019. It just means that there's a lot more accessibility for people outside without having to drop a bunch of money to be able to do what they want to do outdoors. So if you would like to save 10% on any of the VTOMAN battery banks or accessories, that's going to all be linked below, and I'll see you guys next time.